confident are you guys with the way that you guys are able, playing right now and finishing this season out, that you guys can, make a run once you guys get in there?
I think this whole year we've maintained confidence that we can be the team that we're showing we are right now. We obviously have a lot of work to do, but it's nice to have good vibes rolling into this part of the year. Try to, finish the year strong. A lot could happen with the seeding and all that, but we know it's going to come down to probably 2 games next week that can give us a chance to kind of reset and go win a playoff series. But it's the way that we're doing it, the way that we're playing at a consistent level. It's inspiring. Now we just kind of ride the wave until next week.
Draymond was talking about when, I guess he got into, there was a non-call on him that he was arguing with the ref, but he said Steph was right there and he kind of kept me in check or stood up for him. What was your recollection of that play? I think it was Austin Reeves across his mouth or his face.
Yeah, it's one of those, we always talk about Draymond. They say walking the line, whatever that means. Showing his competitive side, he thought he got hit, said something. There's a little quick wall that was put up by, I think it was Justin. And no, it was Jason, I think. But anyway, it was a conversation that I felt like was fair on both sides, and once Draymond moved away, it was just like, hey, don't let it be a reputation thing. He wasn't disrespectful, he was just demonstrative, and that's fair game for a lot of people in the league. And at the end of the day, just move on. That's a message for Draymond, but for us to have his back when he's walking the line the right way, and he did that tonight.
Was that you just trying to diffuse the situation in a way?
For sure. And just make sure, I'm not going to ever tell Draymond at that point, as long as he's not stepping overboard, don't talk. But there is a moment where, okay, you made yourself heard, and now let's play basketball. And he did that to perfection. So he doesn't need a babysitter in that respect. Don't get that twisted. But it's, just trying to read the room, read the situation.
Hey, Steph. Steve has coached the team through a lot this season, including obviously Dre's suspension, asking Hall of Famers Klay, Chris to come off the bench, young guys' expectations. How would you evaluate just sort of how he has handled it all?
It's a very difficult job for sure, where you have a lot of options. I think for 3 years now we've been talking about the vets and the championship core and the young guys, and trying to mix and match and put the right lineups out there. Like you say, you dealt with availability problems all year, whether it's Draymond's situation or whether it's injuries. And you could probably argue that there's 8 or 9 guys that could be in closing lineups, could be in starting lineups. You got Trace in there now. The way JK's come on, there's just so many things to balance, and I don't envy that job at all, because it's difficult, and it's about managing people and keeping people, motivated to say, hey, whatever you're asked to do, go do it, and it helps the team. And he's very consistent with that message. So at the end of the day, I'd say he's done a great job of, balancing it all. And we're not in the best of situations, obviously, knowing where we are in the seeding, but the way that we've kind of tried to turn the season around and give ourselves something to play for has a lot to do with Steve.
Steph, once again, you guys are still right here. It doesn't matter, 1st seed, 11th seed, playing. After all the championships, is it different from year to year? You guys shot 64% from the 3 tonight. It just feels like the Warriors doing what the Warriors do. Is this when you just really lock in? Is it the same zone for you, or is it just kind of year to year the way you handle this part of the season?
It's year to year, because you have to evolve with what challenge faces this particular team. We're not the team of old, but that's okay. As long as you make the necessary adjustments, you have contributions from a lot of different guys that weren't a part of those championship teams, and they're coming to their own and becoming very reliable and consistent. parts of what we do. Like I said, we had a up and down year. We've had a lot going on. A tragedy on our team. Like I said, all the mixing and matching of lineups and stuff. But we have a pulse, and that's all we need. No matter how next week plays out, it's tough to compare it to the years of past when we're getting what do you call it? The little announcements. Oh, we've clinched the 10th spot in the play-in. That's weird, but at least you have something to play for.
Steve was saying how in the past he's had to kind of hold his breath during the minutes that you're on the bench just to kind of see what happens. I'm curious what your mindset is, maybe not as of recent because the bench has been playing so well, but in those moments as you're watching the second unit play when you're on the bench, what's going through your mind of, the work I'm going to have to do when I get back out there, and how comfortable is it now seeing Chris lead this second unit and what they've been able to do?
I talk to Chris all the time, in games, out of games, just about how he controls a lot of that momentum and those stretches where he's running the second unit. And I think between him, Klay, and Trace, they have a really good connection and chemistry of how they're trying to create shots. All the plus minus followers and all that, there's a lot that goes into it, but CP's usually on the better side of that. And as of late, especially the second unit has really given us a lot of life and a lot of confidence that no matter if it's protecting a lead or getting us back into a game. It happened in Dallas. Our starting unit was trash, and they brought us back in tonight. They weren't as good in the first half, and in the third quarter, they pretty much sealed the game for us. So, like I said, every year is a little bit different. And this year, that's been one of our strengths, and that's why it's a total team effort and why we're going to need to continue that if we're going to have a chance in any type of playoff situation.
And for the seeding, Draymond said the biggest difference he sees between the 8 and 9 seed is he said you get 2 bites of the apple instead of 1. Klay said he looks at the Heat from last season getting the 8 and then making it all the way to the finals as inspiration. What do you see the biggest difference of that 8 and 9 seed?
First off, is just having 2 cracks at it. Anything can happen in one game, good or bad. There's an 8 seed, you do guarantee 1 home game if you, lose it in the first one. So I still don't know the math of how it all plays out, and don't really care really. It just matter for us just win these next 3 and see where we end up. But it's a big difference to have two cracks at it for sure. But we'll have confidence no matter where we're at.
Hey, Steph. Last one. Hey, Steph, as the years go on that you get in the league and you guys amazing at the 3 today. How can you guys keep up the good accuracy throughout the years, all that, and the pressures for the game?
We have a lot of talent, a lot of skill. A lot for us is just about how we create shots and connect the game on offense and defense. Tonight in the first half, it was equal opportunity offense. Everybody was, stepping into open looks, and we have a lot of confidence no matter who's shooting. But Warrior basketball is the ball moving, players are moving, setting screens for each other, cutting off of each other, and that's when we're at our best. And there's a nice rhythm and flow to it. So tonight was a great example of that, and got to keep doing it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Steph.
That's hilarious.
Klay, I think the 63.4% from 3 you guys shot tonight is the best 3-point shooting percentage in a game in NBA history.
Oh, wow.
How much of an emphasis, obviously you guys are a 3-point shooting team, but just when you're in this type of matchup, how much of a emphasis is put on that?
Well, you got to take the shots that are presented, and I thought tonight no one had to do too much, and we played a really great brand of collective basketball, and really helps when Draymond is just without hesitation shooting that shot. Guy has great form, great shooter, and he really was a catalyst in the first half to our big night of scoring, I think.
Over the past couple of weeks, it really feels as though Draymond has just kind of gotten to a level this season that he hasn't been at so far on both ends of the floor, maybe back to the at-home Dallas game. What have you seen from him the past couple of weeks?
I've seen a leader. I've seen someone who has directed film sessions, huddles, taking great looks, great rim protection, just being the great player he is. And I think everyone knows how important he is to what we do. So when he's firing all cylinders, we follow.
So we've had this sense all year with you guys, and you've said the same thing. Like, when we are all healthy and we're all playing well, we can do something. Do you guys feel like you're playing your best now? I mean, even though you're still in 10th, but you can still do something with this team.
I think so. I think in our last 36 games, we might be 25-11. So that's indicative of.
Exactly right.
Read Raymond's notes.
Wow.
Don't ever doubt me. Yep. So that's indicative of the brand we're playing, and we can control as much as we can control. We can't worry about seeding too much, but when that time comes, we'll all be ready. And these 3 games ahead of us are also equally just as important, and because we want to go into the the winning time with a nice win streak. It would help everything.
Klay, Draymond said that he sees really the biggest difference as 8 versus 9 or 10. That is fine craftsmanship.
Oh, thank you. It's origami.
9 and 10 is just getting 2 bites of the apple versus 1. What do you see as sort of the biggest differentiators and where you guys can strike?
It would be nice to get to 8, but if we don't, it's not the end of the world. At the end of the day, we got to do it. We got to play whoever's in front of us, and we take a lot of motivation from the Heat last year, who I think had to play 2 playing games, and they made a run all the way to the finals. So I think we're capable of a run like that. Obviously can't look ahead, but whatever happens, we'll all be ready, and we all know that it can be done. There's no task too tall for us. I really believe that. No problem. Is that it? Heck yeah.
5 of 5 for you from 3, Draymond, especially in the first half. I mean, just how good has your shot been feeling, and is it really just defense sagging off of you that's making you that encouraged to shoot from the perimeter so much?
I had kind of a couple-week stretch where my shot didn't feel good at all, but really just standing in the gym, putting the work in, and taking what the defense gives me. If they're going to sag off like they were, I knew coming into this game that they were going to play like that, so I just wanted to come out, not hesitate to shoot, knowing that they're not going to close out, and just raise up and shoot it with confidence.
Are they the most egregious team with that strategy?
Yeah, they are, for sure. But it's different when it's AD out there, because he covers up so many mistakes, or you can funnel things to him. So it's a totally different look when he's not on the floor.
Steve said you worked really hard, on your shot over the summer. What did some of that work entail?
Interestingly enough, it was mind work, and body work. Not necessarily. I mean, I did a lot of shooting. Myself and Travis. Travis put a lot of things in to work on my base, like how I'm getting in and out of my shot, because I think that's one of the. Over the years, my shot took a dive, and it was in large part that I couldn't get in and out of my hips because my hips was messed up. And so it's been a process of getting my movement patterns right. And so that's been Travis, Rick, Danny, my trainer in the summer, James, and Pilates with Alana, just doing a bunch of different things to kind of get my body moving the right way, and get my shot all in one motion. It was kind of a hitchy, but I was just trying to create power because I couldn't get the power from my hips, and so it's been a whole process. And then, like I said, I think the most important part has been the mental work, because once you lose confidence in something in this league, it's impossible to do, and so I had to gain my confidence back, which was the biggest piece of it all, in my opinion.
What are some ways you were able to do that?
Well, number one, it starts with putting the work in. You know, if I put the work in all summer, and then coming into the season and trusting it. And, you know, I think one of the biggest things for me was coming into the season, going in the training camp and hitting shots, and then seeing the confidence that my teammates gained in me. And once, like, it got to a point in, we were doing those mini camps and training camp. Like, I shoot a three and Steph will just take off running back. And, like, it go in, and that's the best feeling in the world, that he had that confidence in me. And so I think that was a huge part of it, getting a lot of work in with the guys over the summer and, kind of coming into the season, and their confidence changed, which helped me change my confidence.
Hey, Dre, this has been a challenging season for Steve in terms of asking Hall of Famers to accept a new role, dealing with the newcomers or young guys' expectations. How have you thought, obviously, Klay has been very vocal about the conversation that he had with some people that mentioned. How have you thought he's just juggled it all?
I think he's done a good job. It's a tough thing to handle, when you look at the history, going to battle every night with the guys who you've gone to battle with at the highest level, time and time and time again. The trust that you have and the bond that's there. And yet, I think in any relationship in the world, the toughest thing is the tough conversations. Nobody wants to have the tough conversations, and yet that's Steve's job, to have those tough conversations. And it doesn't always feel great because, again, there's so much history there. And, to go to someone and say, we want you to come off the bench after all that you've done, that's a hard thing to do. But I think ultimately when you have the type of guys that we have, you ultimately know that the most important thing is to win. And so whatever that takes, that's what we're all willing to do. And you've seen it over the years, right? Like, it wasn't just Klay this year. It was in a playoff series, Steph coming off the bench pretty much the entire playoff series. Myself coming off the bench. Klay went through it this year, but, and there was this big story around it, but he was actually the last one to go through it. Me and Steph came off the bench in pivotal times before he did, and so I think it just says a lot about the character of the guys in this organization and just riding with whatever it is that we think and, the coaching staff think is best for the team, and then going out there and whatever minutes it is that you're out there, making sure we're giving what it takes to win.
You were having a conversation with the referee going into one of the timeouts tonight. It felt like 6 or 7 teammates at various points came over and were almost trying to direct you away from him. Are you feeling that? And what is kind of that pull right now where clearly they seem to be a little bit more on high alert?
Yeah, it was cool. Steph was standing there, which was great because he heard how the referee talked to me, and he went immediately from talking to me to like, yo, you can't talk to him like that, and I think that's the wackest part about it. Like, you can say and speak to me however you feel, but if I say something back, it's attack. Like, that's whack to me. You miss a call, guy clubbed me across the face, and then you like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, get out my face. Like, who are you? You don't just get to not talk. Like, you missed a call. You can't get mad because you missed a call, and so it's a little crazy. But I appreciate the guys being there because it's a bit frustrating. Like, Austin gashed his elbow, hit me in the teeth. And it's no foul. I get hit in the face every single game, and I get no foul calls. I hit somebody in the face, I get thrown under the jail. But when I get hit in the face, we don't see it. I get hit in the face every single night. Like, and I'm not sure one time it's been called. But I fucking blow my breath on somebody and we're reviewing it for a flagrant foul. I don't get it. It's crazy to me.
Hey, Draymond, how would you compare what Steph has shown with his play and leadership compared to all his other great seasons?
I think it's been wonderful. Obviously, his play is still right up there at the top of the league with the best players in the league. But his leadership has continued to grow throughout the years, and I've had the honor of watching that growth over the course of the past 12 years. And he's just taking on more and more of a leadership role each and every year, giving guys more and more to follow. And, you know, when he speaks, you have to listen. When he speaks, you know, it carries so much weight. And so it's just been good to see him grow. I obviously, his best job ever when it comes to leading, because he just continues to improve and improve. And, man, I've had more fun watching him grow as a leader than watching him grow as a player. Because growing as a leader, he's always been a leader, but he's grown vocally as a leader. You know, he's grown, he's right on something as soon as it happened. You know, he's not going to, you know, before he would kind of just watch things play out, and then when he really needed to say something, he'd say it. Now something happens, he's right on top of everything. And I think it's been such a joy to watch because, and the reason that's been more fun for me to watch than the growth of his game is because that one requires him to step outside of his comfort zone. And yet now it seems like a very comfortable space for him, and that's beautiful to watch. When you can get comfortable with the uncomfortable, that's the ultimate growth that we all can have as individuals, and he's done that.
Steve said that this season, or in the past, I guess he's kind of held his breath during the non-Steph minutes, and this season he's feeling really encouraged, actually, and excited about those non-Steph minutes. What have you seen, just I guess evolution-wise, over the years of those non-Steph minutes leading up to this year?
There's been times where those minutes has been great for us, and there's times where those minutes have been a complete disaster. However, you know, nowadays those minutes are with another Hall of Fame point guard running the team, and so that makes a ton of a difference. You know, when you got CP out there being the catalyst, getting us into things, you know, first ballot Hall of Famer, so that you can credit a lot of it to that. And obviously other guys are doing their job, you know, not taking anything away from anybody else, but don't ever underestimate the value of a point guard on the floor. So when Steph's off the floor, we have another first ballot Hall of Famer on the floor, and that makes all the difference.
With the way you guys are playing right now, how confident are you and your guys that you guys can make a run right here?
Very confident. You know, we've kept that same sentiment all along, just about what we feel this team is capable of. And you know, at times this year it hasn't always come together for us, but I think it's coming together at the right time. And, you know, we always feel like if we get a chance, we know what it takes. So just got to make sure we give ourselves the opportunity.
I had a feeling you and Chris would get along once you were on the same team. Like, what's that been like personally and professionally?
It's been incredible. Personally, you know, the relationship that we've built off the floor. We actually stay in the same building. He stayed one floor above me. When he came and moved one floor above me, I was like, he just want to be above me. Right? He's keeping it up. No, but you know, it's been such an honor and a joy to get to know him, his family, his entire crew of people that he has around him. Like, you know, one thing I've learned about him, he's not, like, he doesn't hoard anybody. You know, some people hoard things. Some people hoard people. Like, if you like, see, where'd you get this? Or who's doing this for you? He's like, oh, it's this person doing it. Like, you want the number? Here you go. Like, he's just always trying to lend a helping hand. And, you know, he's what I've grown to learn is, in a lot of ways, he's a lot like me. And, you know, not oftentimes do you run into that, you know, where, you know, it's never really about him. He's always looking to do for someone else. And it's been very refreshing and fun. Refreshing to deal with someone like that, fun to get to know someone like that. But, you know, and then on the court, he helps me a ton. You know, when you, like, we can play off each other without saying a word. And, you know, it's even more fun on the defensive end than it is the offensive end. But I think when you have us two out there, the IQ level raises tremendously. And it makes for great lineups on both sides of the floor. So it's been fun off the court. It's been fun on the court. We gamble on the plane. That's always a blast. It's been a real joy to play alongside Chris, because if I never got a chance to play with him in the NBA, I'm not sure we would have ever said a word to each other. And so it's funny how God works. We came down early the other day, and it's me, Klay, C. My family was on the plane, and Trevor Ariza. And I said to Trevor, I'm like, could you ever have seen this? Like, we're sitting across from each other. And he's like, nah. I'm like, we talk about this every time we get on a plane. Like, you're having such a good time with each other. And he's like, man, I could have never seen this coming. And so it's been an absolute pleasure. And then also helpful. I've learned a ton from him this year as far as leadership, different things that he's seeing, how to process them. I've learned a ton. So it's been a complete honor in every aspect.
Who's the bigger trash talker? Who's the best between you two?
I am definitely the bigger trash talker for sure. But C just kind of needle you where it hurts. Like he not gonna talk much to you unless he has to talk, and then he gonna hit you where it hurts fast. Like he not gonna go back and forth. He just gonna kind of say something to kind of stop it right there. So a little different the way we go about things. But so I would say I'm the bigger trash talker. The best, I don't know. He'll hit you where it hurts fast.
He knocking on your door, every other.
No, but we have watched some games together, which was fun. Just like I said, watching games with him and hearing how he see the game. It's always a pleasure, because sometimes I'll be seeing something different and he'll break something. I'm like, okay, like that's a totally different way of looking at it. The things that he see, like I like to think of myself as a point guard. And the things that he see as a point guard, like I just get to learn from, it's amazing. It's amazing to watch. It's amazing to learn from him. It's been really good for me.
Quickly, how big a difference do you see between 9 and 8, and how hungry should you guys be to maybe lead into 8?
The biggest difference is you get one extra game to win 2, which is a big deal. So if we can get to 8, that's incredible. We love two swings, two bites of the apple. So if we can get to 8, great. But if not, it is what it is. You just got to win the games that we got to win.
Great, thank you. Tonight was just about being super hot.
Yeah, it was. That was the game basically, because I didn't feel like we played that well, but we made a million threes, and so the ball was going in, but I didn't think we were sharp. A lot of possessions where we just weren't quite locked in, or our passing was off target, and we were a little disjointed, but the ball kept going on. I mean, Draymond going 5 for 5 in a half, you don't see that often, but everybody got going, and to shoot 63% from 3, that's crazy.
Was that like an emphasis of the game plan heading into this kind of matchup with the Lakers team that has, obviously no idea, but that kind of size of just let's try and shoot the lights out, or did it just happen that way?
We always try to shoot the lights out. Doesn't always happen, but we had plenty of looks. They were playing off of Draymond, and so he took the ones that were there, and that helped us get off to a great start.
What's been the process for it? Because the teams sag off of him sometimes. They sort of dare him to shoot. And he's talked about how there was a time when he didn't shoot, like he wouldn't be able to punish teams for doing that. What's he done to get himself in a position to hit 5 threes like that?
He worked really hard last summer on his shot. He knew that he would be asked to take more threes. We anticipated playing him at the 4 more often this year with Loon, and then eventually with Trace, and so he worked hard at it. When a guy makes shots, you just credit him for making them, but for putting the work in, and I think really getting his mind right coming into the season.
You kind of talked this week about your outside chance of climbing up. Now you control your own destiny for 9. 8 became a little bit more reasonable tonight. do you feel kind of it getting a little bit closer to reality or possibility?
Yeah, I mean, we need a little help, obviously, but all we've talked about is just win, just take care of our business and see how everything else shakes out. So many teams are playing against each other in the group that we're in, and you just never know. So we've got to keep going, keep winning, and see how it plays out.
Hey, Coach. There's been a lot of speculation about when LeBron's going to retire this year, and you also have a team with a lot of veterans that have started to be in that conversation, but he's clearly still playing at a really high level, and your guys also are playing at a really high level. Do you think that there's going to be a shift, or that there's becoming a difference in when it makes sense to talk about players retiring? Like, do you think that the conversation about what an end of a career can look like in the NBA is evolving, and should it evolve at this point?
I think what's different is players have the means to take care of their bodies year-round. We are much smarter now than we were 20 years ago in terms of our training staffs, monitoring, not only minutes but daily workload. We have the best people in the world to take care of these guys, and they hire the best people in the world in the off season. So players have gotten smarter, and they're taking better care of their bodies, and we're smarter about trying to help them lengthen their careers. And you're seeing the same thing in other sports too. The tennis player. I mean, it wasn't. I think Bjorn Borg played tennis till he was about 28 years old or something, and Roger Federer and Nadal and Djokovic, they're all still going. So we just know a lot more now, and players have the means because of the economics to really put a lot of resources into keeping their bodies in great shape for as long as possible.
Hey, Steve, in what ways, with both Chris and Klay accepting and doing well in a reserve role throughout different parts of the season, what ways has that affected the rest of the group?
Yeah, I mean, I think Chris set a tone from the very beginning by giving up his starting spot after not coming off the bench for a single game in his Hall of Fame career. He set the tone for the group. He basically made the sacrifice, and it's amazing. I said this before the game, I think, but this is by far the best we've been in the non-Steph minutes since I've been here, because you got Chris Paul, Hall of Fame point guard, running the offense, getting us good shots over and over again. But it's more than that. It's his competitiveness. It's his intelligence. I have so much confidence in him that when Steph's not on the floor, it's I used to sort of cross my fingers, and now I feel really confident. In fact, I thought the key stretch of the game was at the end of the third when they were making their run, and we brought the bench in, and Chris led a really good run at the end of the quarter that changed everything. And then I think Klay has been in a great place. The last couple of months, he wasn't thrilled about coming off the bench initially, but handled it beautifully. And whether he's started or come off the bench now, he's been just fantastic. He's very much at peace with himself and playing well and enjoying himself, and it's great to see.
Last one, Ramon.
Steve, this is just a Bay Area hoops question. I don't know if you saw the news. It kind of came out during the game. Tara Vanderveer is going to retire from Stanford.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if you had a relationship with her or just admired from afar sort of what she's been able to do at Stanford, but just curious your thoughts
I didn't
on that
know.
news.
I told just now, so that's big news. I love Tara. She's amazing, and we've connected quite a bit in the Bay. She's come to our practices. I've seen her down on their campus. I have so much respect and admiration for her, and my initial reaction is I'm thrilled for her. She can go water ski. She loves to water ski, I know. So congrats, Tara, on an amazing career. All right.